Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Will. This is Will of the Nerds. And we are back on deck stats. And we are making another tricolor deck. Which is actually going to have the tricolored name like Abzan. The reason I made it was to make tricolor decks. So this one's going to be Jeskai. So the whole reason for this deck was because I had a couple cards in that color that I wanted to use because they were good cards and I wanted to put them in a deck. And I was like, well, I'll find cards that kind of go together in those colors and throw it together. Unlike the Assassin and Rogue deck, which is mainly a Dimir deck. The only reason it's green is because Vraska and Digging for Gold, which is just pirates. And then Dragon Babies against just dragons. God's Domain Sacrifices just like zombies and stuff, and then Hydras. This is just a mix of everything in that color. And the Jeskai deck I'm going to do is the same thing. It's just a mixture of those colors. So we will jump right in, and we will put in a Jeskai. Is that how we spell it? I didn't remember, so I had to look it up, and it is AI. And I was correct. So we are going to do casual as always. And then we will start with the mana base. So I'm going to go through real quick here and shuffle all of the mana out. And that way it is quicker and easier. Then I can just count everything up. So let us see what we have here. I can tell you right now, tricolor decks, I don't really run a whole lot of basic lands just because they don't really help too much. It's better to have dual lands or tricolored lands in this. If you have something that could search for mana, I mean, that's not terrible. That's actually probably a good idea. But we have all of our mana here. It is probably going to be 24, which is usually what I go with. Unless there's a lot of high mana cost stuff, then maybe I'll throw in 26. But, of course, we're going to start with our tricolor mana here, which I believe I should have, a playset of, which is Mystic Monastery. And I think almost all these tricolor lands are from, like, the Khans or Dragons set. And I think that's what two of them are from, but that's what I'm just going to make all of them from because they're more than likely the same price. Especially if you go to, like, your local game store, they're going to charge you the same price for all of them. They're not going to charge you for what set it is. So we're just going to, we'll go with Khans. And we'll click on it to see what it does. And it enters the battlefield tapped. But it taps for a blue, a red, or a white mana. Because that's what you're going to need for the Jeskai. And I guess we'll go with the basic land because a mountain showed up on top next. So we have 3 mountains. So we can go down here, click on the mountain, 3, enter. And next is a dual land we have, which is Meandering River. We have a play set of them. So M-E-A-N, Meandering River. There it is. These are all from Dominaria except for one, so we're just going to make them all Dominaria. Click. Dominaria, there it is. And it taps for a white and a white or a blue. And next we have an Izzet Guildgate. So more than likely a playset of them. Yes, we do. A playset of Izzet Guildgates. It taps for a red or a blue. Let's make sure we get it. Guildgate, not Guild Mage. These ones are from the new, what is it, Return to Ravnica, I believe is what it is. Guilds of Ravnica? Guilds of Ravnica. Yeah. There's 2 different ones there. I'm not too worried about it. And we will put that there. Next we have Stone Quarry. We have a play set of those as well. So we can type that in, Stone Quarry. And what are these from? These look like they are from, yeah, 3 out of the 4 are from Kaladesh or Aether Revolt. I think this is Kaladesh. So that's what we're just going to make all of them. Yep, Kaladesh. That is correct. 4 of them, and we're up to 16, or we're up to 19. I apologize. 19 lands. And we have 3 planes. So let's click on the planes. 3, enter. And then we have 2 islands, which gives us 24 lands. And nothing in the sideboard. I really don't do sideboards. If you've watched any of these videos, it's not my thing. I like having the cards that I need in the deck, or finding cards that have multiple uses. That way you don't need a sideboard. Alright, so I think first the easiest thing we'll do is we'll look for the legendary creatures. And we're going to set them off to the side because we don't want to do the legendary creatures yet, because they're going to be the big important things that you guys are going to want to see, and we want to put those last. That way I can at least reel you guys in to watch a couple more minutes of my annoying videos. So let's set them off to the side, and we can go with the instants next, because that is what is on top. So let me dig through and find all the instant chords. That's what I'm going to go with, instant chords. I'm speaking with an accent. Okay. All right. So the first one we have here is Absorb. So let's punch that in. We will throw 2 over here. They are from the same set. Ravnica Allegiance is what it was. Counter target spell, and you gain 3 life. So there you go. You got a counter spell in this, because, I mean, why not? It's 3 mana. Except for 1 colorless, it's a white, which hopefully you'll have that. I don't know if you'll have it by turn 3, but it's a counterspell to have in this deck, because you are running blue, so you're going to want to have counterspells, because of course. And then we have Flying Crane Technique, and this is what, a cons card. This is a big mana cost card, isn't it? That's 6 mana. Untap all creatures you control. They gain flying and double strike until end of turn. I can see why there. It's a cheap card, but I mean, end game thing. Like there you go. There's a dragon that does the same thing. That gives what, all dragons you control double strike. This gives, it untaps all your creatures and gives them double strike. Why they might be tapped, I don't know, unless your opponent is tapping them down. But if they are, then at least you get to untap them. All right, now we have Dramatic Rescue. And I remember when I first got into Magic and I bought some cards. And I bought the big thing off of Star City Games, which came to like 1,000 cards and like 20-something rares. I got a fuck ton of these goddamn things, and I got rid of a bunch of them, but I kept like a play set. And return target creature to its owner's hand, and you gain 2 life. So it can either, like that, Dramatic Rescue, like rescue one of your cards, or you can return an opponent's creature to their hand. And the next and last instant we have is Fall of the Gavel. It is an instant. It looks like it is from only 1 set. It is Return to Ravnica, and counter target spell, and you gain 5 life. So there's another counter spell. It's very expensive, but you do get the splash of white, which is gaining a life. So there's 4 counter spells basically in this. I mean, obviously you can take these out for actual like cancels and disperse or dispel and stuff like that if you want to. They were just in there because I had them and they fit with the color scheme, so that's just what I went with. I think next we will do the sorceries, which I have a few of, I believe, unless I am... Yep, there's only 2 of them. Alright, this should be easy. We have Teleportal, I believe is what it is. Teleportal, yes. And it is from the old Ravnica set. It's the bottom here. Return to Ravnica. And let's see what you do. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and it is unblockable this turn. If you can keep it, this works well with Flying Crane technique. Then your one creature is going to be unblockable, and it's going to gain Flying and Double Strike, which could really end the game if you can hold on to it that long. I mean, obviously, if you have a chance to win the game with that, you're gonna play it, and if so, you're at least gonna waste a counter spell that your opponent has. But what's nice is if you're holding it for late game, if you happen to top deck and you're holding both of them, and one gets counterspelled and you have enough mana, you can play the other one and not miss a beat. Next we have Invoke the Firemind, not Invoke Thy, Invoke the Firemind. And what set is that? That don't look familiar. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of one of these because they're from different sets. One is from Guild Pack and the other one's from the Dual Deck. Where'd you go? There'd you go. That's where you went. Choose one. Draw X cards or Invoke the Firemind deals X damage to target creature or player. So, I mean, there you go. It gives you card draw if you need it at end of turn, or if you just need that little bit of damage to kill your opponent. If you don't have anything else, and that could win you the game or draw you your win con if need be, depending on what position you're in, which is nice. It's only, I mean, it is a bit, so chances are you're only going to draw maybe 2 or 3 cards off of that. If you're lucky, you could pay 1 and like top deck it, but that doesn't happen very often. At least it hasn't happened very often with me. Next we have Lightning Angel. Boom a boom. We have 2, and she is from, what is this, the Dual Deck? Is it a Dual Deck? Yeah, Speed versus Cunning. Okay. I like her. She has a lot of stuff. Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. I mean, you know, Flying is what? The blue, Vigilance is the white, and the Haste is the red. 3/4, it's not bad, but, I mean, she come out and attack, and she's not going to tap, so, you know, it's a nice creature that if you can't really get through, at least she has Flying, and she could be a nice blocker for you. And, there might be stuff in here to actually buff your creatures. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played this. So she could end up getting buffed, which is going to be nice if you can buff her. And especially if you can get that double strike on there. She already has Flying, so it's just going to be redundant. But if you give her double strike, there you go. Especially on top of everything else. So now we have Mercurial Chemister. And I need to do the same thing because we have 2, but they are from different sets. One is from Commander, and the other one is from that Ravnica set. Return to Ravnica is what it is, right? You return to Ravnica, and let's click on it and see what it does. Blue and a tap, draw 2 cards. A red and a tap, discard a card. This deals damage to target creature equal to the discarded card's converted mana cost. Again, this could win the game for you. If it's towards the end, if your opponent doesn't have a whole lot of life, and you have like a high mana cost card in your hand, and you're like, they have 5 life, they got creatures out, I'm just going to discard it and win the game instead of just having it drag out. Next we have Warden of the Eye. Like, a lot of these are a bit higher on mana cost, but like I said, I've played a lot of multiplayer games, so like they tend to drag out enough to where you can drop most of these cards with pretty well ease, you know. Whenever this enters the battlefield, return target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard to your hand. So an instant or sorcery you're going to get back. Which, if you have, which can give you one of the counter spells back, or the one burn spell, Teleportal, I could do that. If I can find it, I don't remember what it was. Invoke the Firemind. Can get returned to your hand. Or if Flying Crane Technique got countered, then at least you can return it to your hand. And somebody's going to have to find a way around it. And if they can't, then they are screwed. I need to look here. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's why. Okay, I was like, I have 2 cards here that I don't have any other copies of. They must be somewhere else. I had them in the pile of legendary creatures, which we are getting close to. So we have High Spire Mantis. This looks like it is a Cons card also. You know, I didn't realize how many cards I have from Cons until, like, I started doing this, and I have a lot of cards from Cons and Dragons in here. Flying and Trample. Easy enough. Flying creature, which is always good to have. The Trample's okay. 3/3. Trample is not much. It's probably not really going to get through to anything. But you throw that Flying Crane Technique and give it double strike, it gets a little more dangerous. Okay, so now we have Swift Blade, Vindicator, which I enjoy this card. I think I have this in a soldier deck also, but it has double strike, I believe, right? Double strike, vigilance, and trample. Again, trample's not going to do much. It's 1/1. But the double strike and the vigilance is really nice, especially if you have it in a soldier deck that you have other cards that buff your soldiers. It is really nice because then it gets big and it gets scary and it doesn't tap and it's going to hit you twice. All right, now we have Sky Terror, which if you can guess what it is, it's a terror. Now it's I thought this was from an older set. It's really not. It's from Ixalan, which is not that old. Surprisingly, I mean, it's still 3 years old, but it feels like it's from like Cons. Flying in Menace is Menace. Menace is either, I think it might have to be blocked by two creatures, right? 2 or more creatures. And there's another one where it can only be blocked by artifacts, but I can't remember what the actual name is for them. Okay, so next we will get into our legendary cards. So we have Bruce Tarl, and there he is, Boorish Herder. He is from the same set. He's a pretty expensive card, I believe, and Commander 16. Okay, he's not as expensive as he was. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, target creature you control gains double strike and lifelink until end of turn. You can ignore the partner. Again, this is why it's casual, because this card is not legal in anything other than Commander, because it is a Commander card. So, I mean, it's in here because it obviously gives double strike and lifelink, which is nice. So you're going to hopefully gain some life, and your creatures are going to do some double damage. And now we can move on to our next card, which is a God card, which is Keranos God of Storms. And that's a mythic. Of course it's a mythic, because there wasn't any planeswalkers in this set, I believe. It was just gods. There might have been 1 or 2 planeswalkers. But Journey into Nyx, let us take a look. It's indestructible. It's not a creature if your devotion is less than 7, which is for blue and red. And chances are you might not have that. It might take you a while to get that, actually, because you do have a lot of color. You do have like the colorless mana cost, but you do have white in there also, which doesn't count towards that. Okay, so reveal the first card you draw on each of your turns. So whenever you reveal a land card this way, draw a card. So again, I'm assuming you're going to draw an additional card. Whenever you reveal a non-land card this way, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So there you go. Nice burn. Burn spell. That's not bad. 6/5, indestructible, and I guess you get to draw 2 cards basically, or do you just draw that card? I don't really know how that works. I am not a judge. I don't really know, to be honest. And I forgot a sorcery, so we'll do the sorcery after this one, because I'm holding this card now, and we're just going to do it. Wrath Capation, Ship's Mage? Sure. Why not? That's his name. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I'm going with. Alright, so Wrath here. Flash, flying. You may cast historic spells as though they had flash. He's probably something you could take out, but you do have a decent amount of legendary spells in here, which counts as historic. So at least it gives them flash. If you're on your back foot and you just need to throw something out to protect you till your next turn, there you go. It helps you out, but honestly, you could probably get rid of them. And next, we will do that sorcery that I forgot about, which is Search Warrant. And there we go. 2 of them, like the usual. Let's go down here and see what it's all about. Target player reveals his or her hand. You gain life equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. It's not going to gain you a whole lot of life, but it's 2 mana. So you played at the beginning of the game, you're going to gain probably anywhere from like 5 to 7 life, unless they mulliganed a lot. And then it's just kind of useless. But if you're playing multiplayer, you can pick somebody that has the most cards in hand. Now we have Daxos of Meletis, and I believe these are both from the same set, which is Journey or Born. It's Theros. Not even close. They might be the same block, actually, though. I don't know. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater, so it can't be blocked by big creatures. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. This works late game, especially if all the little creatures are gone and your opponent just has big creatures. Then you're probably going to have the mana cost to play their bigger creatures if that's what it is. If that's the card that they're going to be getting exiled, right? Yeah, exiled. So, and I mean, I believe it just stays in exile too if you don't cast it, which is nice because there's really not a whole lot of cards that get cards back from exile. And next we have Ojatai Dragon Speaker. Ishai Ojatai Dragon Speaker. We're going to go with that. And I think this is from the same commander set from Bruce Tarl. And if I can find it, it starts I am a pain in the ass. I can't find the card I need. Okay, flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. You can ignore the partner. Again, it's not legal because it's a commander card, but I play casual, so I don't give a fuck. I just play cards to have fun, and I make decks that I could have fun playing. So I basically pull cards from anything. And, I mean, I have some restrictions. Like, I don't play Sol Rings. Sol Rings a bit much. My friend plays Sol Rings. He plays a demon deck, but like 8 times out of 10, even if he pulls the Sol Ring, his demon deck does not get off the ground before he's dead. So like, I'm okay with that. All right, so we're gonna go save, and we are gonna hit OK there. So we have 8 instants, 6 sorceries, and 22 creatures. We're gonna look at the details. A lot of 2-drops, a lot of 4-drops. The mana base, I mean, it looks like might have a little more red in there. Let us see what the most expensive card is in the set. Oh, Keranos God of Storms, $8 a piece. And then Bruce Tarl, yeah. He used to be a lot more, I believe. But $44, actually a little cheaper because of the basic lands. You don't want to pay like $1 for basic lands. Forget about that. You might actually be able to get some of these other lands from friends for free too. So it's about a $40 deck. And then we can look at the visual spoilers if everything wants to load. It's taking its time. There we go. You can get a nice big picture of all the cards again. And then we can look at the starting hand. That's actually not bad. That's pretty good. I would start with your dual land there. I'd probably throw my other dual land down. And then, I mean, you have every mana you need. What do you have most of in your hand? I mean, you got a 2 blue mana cost, so I'd go with that. And either one works. You can't play this one yet. So Sky Terror is what it's going to have to be. And then you could play this. Then I'd play High Spire Mantis. And, I mean, you're doing 2 damage. And next we can, I would play the Plains. I would maybe play Search Warrant now to gain a little bit of life. Then come to the next turn, I would play Stone Quarry, and I would sit back. I would wait to do this. Okay, now I would play this. You're tapping 3 mana, so blue, blue, and red. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I would do 4 damage to something. You're probably going to kill something at this turn, or you're going to do a little bit of damage. So right now you're looking at maybe getting your opponent to maybe like 12-ish life. And next I would play this, because this is going to become a big threat. Your opponents don't want this on the battlefield. They're going to try to target that, and every time they cast a spell, it's just going to buff it. Okay. Okay, I would hold Fall of the Gavel. And what I would do is I would probably play it on their turn before the next one just to get your 5 life. Hopefully they play something good. If not, you're obviously going to hold it. But you play it on their turn. You really don't have much to play anyway. It comes back to your turn. Then you would play Lightning, Angels, what I would do. There's really nothing much you can do right now. I would wait. Yep, I would play this. Chances are this is probably not a creature because they probably got rid of a creature or 2 that you have. And you're going to keep drawing. You're getting kind of mana screwed a little bit. But you're still able to play everything that you're drawing. So when this enters the battlefield or attacks, creatures you control gain double strike. So I'm playing this. And then whatever creatures you have, I'm attacking with. And this should get your opponent down pretty far. And then this is where I would probably play Invoke the Firemind for the damage to the player. And you might be able to win it there. So let's look and see. Okay, when this enters the battlefield, you just top deck this. So you can get this back. And even if you didn't kill your opponent, if you attack again, especially with him, you're going to gain more life and everything's going to get double strike. So you're getting a little more life. You're staying a little bit ahead of your opponent. Come to your next turn. You have Invoke the Firemind back in your hand because of Warden of the Eye. You can play Invoke the Firemind again, and that should probably win you the game by this turn. But as you know, if you play Magic, it doesn't always end up that way. But we will let it there, so if you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.